Troy Hazard, who I don't know how many Hazard. How many businesses have you owned and started?
Well,
I know you.
There was getting to 12.
12, and you failed what? 3 of them, and then the other ones were successful.
No, I actually didn't fail any of them. Some of them didn't do so great, but we didn't fail any of them.
All right, the word's not in my vocabulary. Blah, blah,
Blah, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Public Speaker. But one thing that I don't think we've ever talked about in all the years we talked to you, and all of your wisdom in business, Troy, is talking about buying a business. And it's interesting because I thought one day,
way to go.
wouldn't it be great just to give it up and go buy a Subway?
Yes.
Go buy like a
bar on the beach.
Go buy a KFC.
Come
or
on.
a little bar on the beach somewhere. But it's not that simple, is it?
Damn.
No, it's not. And look, as I reflect on the purchase we made this week, I'm looking back over the things that have been important to me over the last 25 years when buying a business, and none of it's really got anything to do with the numbers. I mean, no one's going to present to you a lousy profit and loss sheet or a lousy balance sheet. You've got to look beyond that to try and find a good deal, and that means that you've got to not fall in love with the deal for starters. Like, never fall in love with an asset or a deal. And usually we do because we've invested so much time in that whole process. It's easy to get stuck in and go, I've got to have this thing done, and you don't really have to.
Talk about this, because this is a dangerous one, Troy, and you and I have talked about this on the air a lot of times. Purpose, passion, and people equals profit. However, you've got to have the secret sauce there, because if you have passion, you've got the wrong people, but no talent and no secret sauce. It's an American Idol.
So when we're looking at a business, I look beyond the balance sheet, beyond the profit and loss statement. I want to look at what the business does. Like, why does it do that? How does it do that? And who is delivering on that promise? Because if you haven't got those pieces together, then you haven't got an offer. Regardless of what the balance sheet or the profit and loss says, these ingredients are the things that actually make you the money.
The other issue is as we always talk about investing in businesses and investing in companies, you always talk about who's in the lunchroom, who's the management team. And that's I think that's your third. I think that's it could be part of your third metric here, which is who's coming for the ride. Does that have to do with management, or is that something different?
No, absolutely. Look, most of the companies I've bought, I knew nothing about them. I bought a technology company, and I'm starting my computer in the morning. So it's important to make sure you've got the commercial intelligence coming for the ride. And that doesn't mean that all the staff need to come for the ride, but there might be 2 or 3 individuals that are the most valuable that need to come handcuffed to that deal. Because if you find yourself in there without knowing how the business runs or how it works, you're in a lot of strife.
What's interesting about all this stuff is, one of the things that you are best at, only because I know you personally, is that you can take the emotion out of your decision making when it comes to businesses, and I think that's the toughest part.
That's hard to do.
Well, I mean, when you're gonna if Nails gets so he sees like a hemp farm down in Costa Rica.
Let's go.
Or a bar on the beach somewhere.
Do this.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
And you can't. And that goes back to your first tenet, and that's don't fall in love with the deal. But how do you take that emotion out of it, Troy?
Well, I try and separate perception from reality. The sellers of the business are doing just that. They're trying to sell you a business. They're telling you how great it is, how loyal their customers are, how wonderful their product or service is. The reality is we've got to look beyond that and look at the buyers. Who's the customers?
Yeah.
What do they really feel about the business, and do they have the same perception about the business as the sellers? Because oftentimes they don't match.
Okay, you don't have to stay, but will you please come back at some point? I could care less about you, but those 2 little girls of yours I want to see at least.
Yeah, come visit.
All right.
Come with me too.
Thanks, buddy. See you, pal. Troy Hazard.
So cool.
His youngest daughter was. I believe 3 days old was on this was on this television program.
Oh, yeah.
Brought in here.
That's about time.
That's why you're gonna cause some sibling rivalry, Hazard, if you don't bring the second one in, because when they're in high school,
right?
They'll
be scarred.
Yeah, they're gonna be scarred because one's got a national television debut and the other one is the redheaded stepchild. Let's face it.
Come on,
and both your kids have red hair.
Yeah, let's nip this.
Yeah.
Hours of therapy.
If you have to pay, did you say to pay?
To pay.
Best line on the show ever. The history of the show. Troy Hazard was there. Big
Wen,
Fish Show.
The new Wen from Austin, baby. Good day.